Here's another little pedalboard update. Had a run of shows with the Van Morrison tribute in Gippsland, Victoria on the weekend, and the pedalboard got used. But I thought I'd give a little explanation to why I've got the pedals I've got, because I'm happy. I could happily do the gig or most gigs without pedals, but these are there to help me depending on the rooms that I'm playing and things like that. So the compressor, I'm not using this to squish tone or anything like that. The way I've got it set is so that it has very light compression, and what that does for me is it in some rooms where if I'm having trouble hearing the bass, this will give the bass a little bit more presence, make some of the strings pop out a little bit more in some of the notes. So that's how I'm using that. Decided to put that first because it's got the top mount, like the jack will go in the top, and I normally have a microphone stand here, so that protects that, stops people from stepping on it. The Peterson strobe tuner, the reason I went with this besides accuracy is the fact that it's got a good buffer in it and it's always on, which means that I don't have to mute it in order to see if it's still in tune. So that's why that's there. And the reason that's second is that as soon as I plug in this pedalboard, that switches on and Bob's your uncle. The Octave is there as a just in case mostly, depending on the gigs I've got. If it, you know, if I'm doing it like a corporate gig or a wedding or something like that, and I need the Octave or the synth sounds, that's there. But at the moment, it's being used as a boost. So with the mix all the way down, it's a clean boost, and just there is enough to give it a little bit of extra juice when needed. But I can jump on the sub octave if I need it. And then finally, the Bassrig. So this has been cool. So the way I'm running it is, it's the cab sim's always on, even when it's bypassed. So front of house is getting a dry signal, but with a cab sim. And then when I jump on the pedal, that's the EQ settings they're getting, which is just a little bit of hair, a little bit of sparkle, trying to get it to act like a tube amp, which I don't have much experience with tube amps, but that's kind of what I want from it. And that's what they're getting. So no matter what, whether it's on or off, they're getting some kind of cab sim. But for myself, into my amp, some of the songs which are more jazzy, the pedal's off. If the song's more rocking, the pedal's on. Just to give me a bit more edge to the tone, let me sort of sit differently in the mix. But I do find that when the mix is very sparse, that's probably a little bit too aggressive. So what I'm hearing in my amp when it's on and off is either my clean tone or something a little bit dirtier. And they're there for not really always on, but just to help me in certain situations where I might need a little bit more juice or a bit more sparkle or a bit more cut through, depending on the room. Currently mounted on a Nano Plus Pedaltrain, which is too small. I think I'm going to upgrade to a Metro 16, and powered by the Cioks DC7 because it fits under the Pedaltrain, and the compressor's powered by 18 volts. So there you have it. That's what I'm going to use for now on until I get sick of it. But then there's a theatre show coming up where I'll be running in-ear monitors. That'll be the next test. So on a live gig without PA support, that rig is awesome. On a gig where there was PA support, the rig was awesome. So the next test is on a gig with in-ears only in a theatre pit. I'll update you then.